Today we're going to be talking about 9 things coming to the Raleigh area in 2025, so stick around. All right, so one of the first places we're gonna hit on that's opening in 2025 is the HUB. The HUB is an area in the Research Triangle Park, or RTP, over in the Durham County side. And this is a place that has traditionally been all research, science, lab kind of space. And this is gonna be one of the first times we're really starting to see a lot more residential scene on the area. And also,
first time, actually.
Yeah, they'll have some apartments in there. And then also a lot more coming on the commercial side with restaurants. There's a little bit of a restaurant scene that's been kind of growing over in RTP, but this is gonna open up a lot more access. And we are really excited about some of the restaurants coming in this section of the HUB.
Yeah, so there's a place in the HUB called the Horseshoe that's mainly going to be office space, but it's also going to have some retail space as well. And there's some pretty nice looking restaurants that are coming. As you know, if you've watched our videos, Prime Barbecue is our favorite barbecue restaurant in the Triangle.
Yes.
The owner of Prime Barbecue is opening up Prime Steak, which will open up in the Horseshoe at the HUB in 2025.
Exciting.
And that's just one of many restaurants that are going to be opening up within that region. So in general, if you've ever driven through the Research Triangle Park, it's kind of just a bland area. There's a lot of just open space, dead space. There's a lot of commercial space, a lot of lab space, but the HUB's going to kind of make it a little more lively.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm excited. I feel like it's going to give it a more hip scene, you know? Yeah. And I think it'll bring people that don't just necessarily are already there for work. I think it'll bring people in from other parts of Raleigh and Durham into that area to enjoy those restaurants. And then also give people that are working there every day a little more opportunity to meet up with friends for lunch or dinner after work, and some really great options for them. Prime Barbecue in Nightdale is one of our favorites. So the fact that they're opening a Prime Steakhouse over here, I'm excited to see kind of what the difference is, if it's going to be more sounds like it would be more upscale. So we'll probably be there opening day. We love this place. So yeah, well, we have 4 kids, so we probably won't be, but we'll definitely get there eventually and be raving about it. But yeah, we are excited about this expansion. All right, next on the list is the Gipson Play Plaza that's going to be at Dix Park. I am so excited about this one. This one has kind of been in the works for a while now, and it's actually going to be opening this year in 2025. This playground, I like that they're calling it a play plaza because it's huge. It's 18.5 acres. It's going to be like a new entrance to an already very large park called Dix Park in Raleigh. This looks like it's going to be just incredible. I'm so excited to take our kids there. There's water features, sand areas, obviously a huge play structure that looks just very unique, and a lot of walking paths and all of these different things that are going to make this a really standout location. Yeah, and I mean, it's going to join a lot of really great playgrounds that already exist in the Raleigh area. And so it's just going to be one more really cool addition for families. Yeah, for sure. All right, heading back to Durham, the Novus is opening in 2025. The Novus is a massive apartment condo complex. You've probably seen when you're driving around. It's what's that random large building in the distance?
I had no idea how big it was until one day I was driving south on Duke Street, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And it's the Novus. It's just towering over everything. You can see it. I can even see it sometimes from 15501.
Yeah, you can see it. Right.
It's crazy.
You can see it from
it's
far.
Massive.
And Zach said one time, I think that's the Novus. I was like, no way. That's not the Novus.
It
was.
It is. It's huge. So this place is going to have 118 apartments, 54 condos. The average, I shouldn't say the average, the median price point for the condos is $1.5 million. So it's definitely not a cheap place to purchase.
No. This is luxury living in downtown Durham.
It is, and I mean, it's unique in that there's a lot of condos in Durham, but this is like a whole nother level when it comes to luxury living in downtown Durham. And as far as the amenities go, they're pretty wild. You've got golf simulators. There's going to be a putting green. There's outdoor swimming pool. I think there's a grooming station for your pet. Yeah, there's I think cold plunge and hot tubs. You got to have the cold plunge.
You got to stay relevant.
Yeah.
So hot tubs are out.
Yeah, hot tubs are out.
It's not about making yourself miserable.
But anyway, it's opening in 2025. I think a good portion, I know a good portion of those condos are already under contract. I think there's 12 that are currently remaining. So there are a few options left for those who are interested. But in general, it's a big deal that Durham's getting something of that magnitude, of that price point, those kind of amenities. I mean, it's a transformative type of building.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's kind of funny because I think when they were first like announcing this a few years ago and starting to build it, you know, you would read all the Facebook comments about people are like, none of these are going to sell. These prices are ridiculous. And here we are with only 12 left. Like, it's like, apparently there was a demand for this like luxury condo lifestyle. So it'll be interesting to see if anything else kind of like follows suit and in the next few years too, of like more,
especially
of these,
in
like,
Raleigh, because I don't know how much more Durham can handle of something like that, but Raleigh, I mean, something like that could easily pop up in Raleigh.
For sure. And if you are looking to buy or sell, we are real estate agents in the area. So whether you're looking to buy a $1.5 million condo or a farmhouse out in the rural areas, we are here to help. So definitely reach out. Our contact info is below. All right, next on our list, staying in the Durham area, we have Andretti Karting that's opening up. This is going to be just a fun place to go hang out with friends or take your family to. They're going to have junior race cars for children, and then they also have more adult-friendly kind of things.
That's for children. They go 25 miles an hour.
Well, they're called junior cars. Yeah, maybe they're for like 13 and up. I don't know, but you know, they do have stuff for. You know, or maybe it's just for smaller people.
Just picturing our 5-year-old going 25 miles an hour.
No, he's not driving that thing. No, he's got to stick to his kid's Jeep that's in the garage. But, you know, this is going to be a fun place. They're also going to have some bowling lanes inside. There's going to be an event space there, a bar and restaurant. So it's just going to be a fun place to go hang out or host an event. And it's going to be right next to Topgolf, which is really cool. So you have kind of both of those things that are right there. Kind of, they're in Durham, but it's right on that RTP area as well, which is exciting. Yeah.
It's just neat. It's kind of like its own little entertainment space. You've got the karting right there. You've got the Topgolf right across. So that's a cool spot.
It is. Because, you know, you have playgrounds and things like this that open up. But if you're an adult, obviously, like there's only so much allure a playground has when you don't have kids. So having more and more stuff like this kind of opening for like adults to go hang out and have a good time is also really cool. And I think they also are going to have laser tag. So it's going to be a fun spot.
Yeah. All right, so now we're moving more into the side of the list where things are going to be breaking ground, but they're not necessarily opening in 2025. And the first one, and probably one of the biggest ones that we'll talk about, is Hat Amphitheater in downtown Raleigh. Will be breaking ground in a new location. Now, if you haven't heard about this, you might think that's pretty far away, but it's literally right beside the existing one. They're going to be closing South Street and building a brand new Hat Amphitheater and essentially demolishing the old one. So the new one's going to be roughly the same size as the current one. The current one holds about 6,000 folks. The new one's going to hold 6,000 to 6,500 folks. So not a huge difference, if any difference whatsoever. And the reason they're doing this is where the current Hat Amphitheater is, they're going to be expanding the convention center into that area. So it's gonna be a really nice convention center in Raleigh. That's one of the things Raleigh really wants to improve in order to get more business tourism into the area. So you're gonna have a brand new convention center, and you're also gonna have a hotel owned by Omni Hotels, which the only one I know of Omni is the one they own in the mountains, which looks really, it looks really cool. Never been there, but it looks really cool. But this one's going to be 550 rooms. That's going to be a really cool spot in downtown Raleigh once it's completed. Yeah, so they're really, a lot of the reason for all this is just opening up more for the convention center to have more tourism in the Raleigh area. So that's why they are relocating it, even though they aren't like necessarily improving it or making it larger. It's going to be just kind of right where it already is, which is great because it's so cool to have that right in the downtown area. It's a fun little venue. Exactly. So excited, it would have been tragic, honestly, if it would have left downtown Raleigh. For sure. So it's great that we get to keep it. Yeah. By the way, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave us a comment below. And also, we do weekly lives that go much more in depth into topics like this, and that's why we do them. And so if topics like this interest you, make sure to check out those lives. Honestly, a lot of things we're talking about today, we've already done a live on, sometimes months ago. They go much more in depth than we're going today. So make sure to check those out. All right, the next one on the list is for all of those Disney adults out there. Asteria is breaking ground in 2025. This is a Disney neighborhood that's coming to the area. You know, there's not a ton of info about like what the amenities are going to be, but this neighborhood is going to be giant. We're talking 4,000 home sites, which is just crazy. And it's going to be located in an already existing neighborhood with a lot of other homes. So it's called Chatham Park in the Pittsboro area. So this is going to be really exciting and interesting to see what are the amenities going to be, how Disney heavy is this neighborhood going to feel, and when can we move? Because I love Disney World so much. So to put forth 4,000 homes into perspective. If you know Wendell Falls is going to be about 4,000 homes. But then there's another element that even shows, I think, how much larger this neighborhood is going to be than Wendell Falls. It's going to be 1,500 acres. To put that in perspective to Wendell Falls is about 1,100 acres. So it's substantially larger. And like Cindy said, we know very, very little about, what type of amenities are going in, who the builders are going to be, what the price points are going to be. Like, none of that has been revealed yet. But what has been at least discussed is the high possibility that the ground will be breaking in 2025. So a lot of those details we don't have, we're probably going to start getting next year, which is pretty exciting. But I think in general, the biggest reason it's worth talking about is if you ever been to Pittsboro or Chatham County, this neighborhood and the neighborhood that it's a part of, the Chatham Park neighborhood, is really going to transform Chatham County over the next 10, 20 years.
It already has been transforming.
Yeah, but I like there was estimations within one of the developers who's part of developing this neighborhood when they were talking about Chatham County, which is where this neighborhood will exist. But talking about population growth over the next 20 years, going from about 80,000 in Chatham County today to about 300,000 in 20 years.
Wild.
And to really put that in perspective, I mean, it's truly mind blowing. It's larger than Durham is currently. And so that's just substantial growth. And this Disney neighborhood is really a part of that growth. So that's why it's worth talking about just outside of the national press that it gets.
Yeah, and we'd love to know your opinions on, is this a cool thing that Disney's having a neighborhood, or do you hate it? Because
obviously Cindy loves it. Cindy is all about it.
It's fun. Yeah, I'm not saying we're not going to move to Chatham County because my family doesn't live in Chatham County, but I love Disney World, so I'm excited to see what it brings and if there's any opportunities for like non-residents to go like have brunch with Mickey Mouse or something. Like I'll jump on that opportunity.
All right, up next is the Raleigh Sports and Entertainment District. This is another one that is breaking ground in 2025. It will not be complete in 2025. So this district is going to be right where the Lenovo Center, which was previously the PNC Arena,
which was previously the RBC Center.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the Lenovo Center now and Carter Finley Stadium. So it's kind of within that region, and it is going to be a massive transformation. So they're going to be adding a bunch of retail space, apartments, a hotel. I mean, it's going to look completely different than what it does today. Yeah. And this is separate from the expansion or the redesign, so to speak, of the Lenovo Center. That's a $300 million project on its own. Yeah,
they're doing some renovations in there, adding like some new entrances and stuff to that building. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that kind of looks like. I know they're trying to like spruce it up inside. Not that it looks bad now, but I think they're just trying to make it even more appealing. Yeah. The Hurricanes are still set to continue playing there, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more concerts and stuff continuing to happen. It'll be interesting. I think people are a little concerned about adding all of this other stuff to there. Is how are we going to get out of the parking lot at these events? So some people are like, I hope they're building like a parking deck or something. Because, anytime, it doesn't matter where you go across the country, when you're at a concert and everybody leaves at the same time.
There are two parking garages. I just had to glance at my notes. There's literally so many things going on. I have to look at my notes.
Yeah, so hopefully those will be part of like the parking for these events. Obviously, it's still hard to get out of a parking deck too, but having more parking is always better than having less parking, because obviously some of this is going to be impacting the current parking lot area at the PNC Arena and at Carter Finley. So we'll see what happens like with that and the tailgating area, but this will be interesting to watch develop over the next few years.
Yeah, and they're also, one other thing I forgot, is they're adding a concert venue, 4,300 seat concert venue will be a part of this redesign as well, that'll be hosted by Live Nation. So it's just, it's just an incredibly expansive, and it's a part of a larger redevelopment of the area called like the Blue Ridge Corridor redevelopment that's kind of just organizing some things that are kind of chaotic in that region. And I think in general, who knows if this is going to happen, but folks in Raleigh are making a really big push for a Major League Baseball team, and this type of investment goes a long way towards that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if we get any more big teams coming to the area. All right, next on the list, we are heading over to Chapel Hill and for a new expansion of a currently existing kids museum called Kidzu. Kidzu has been in the University Mall for years now. It's a kind of a small indoor play type museum that has a lot of like art and some climbing structures and things like that. And they are they've gotten a lot of funding to make a massive children's museum, which is gonna, I think, have more of a similar feel to the Museum of Life and Science in Durham. It's gonna be a lot more like outdoor space and eventually like a 4-story actual museum structure. So I'm really excited to see what this is gonna be, what it plays out like, and just to have another option of a place to take the kids that is, you know, both kind of educational, but also just fun and play-based, and get them outside, because that's always so much fun.
Yeah, and the reason it's on the list is in 2025, the expectation is a very small portion of the museum will be open sometime in the summer timeframe. Really, they're just expecting like a small outdoor amphitheater to be open. They said something about a nature pavilion. I'm not 100% sure what that is. There's not a ton of details on this. You can go to their website. The concept art looks really cool. It shows some kids on like what looks to be like a ropes course that's kind of going through the woods. So it looks to be like a really neat museum that they're developing. But like Cindy said, a 4-story building at some point, that's probably coming at a much, much later date. But, you know, when you think about like Raleigh obviously has a kids museum, Durham has a kids museum, but Chapel Hill, like if you've ever been to Kidzu, it's really small.
Yeah, it's really fun
small,
and cute, but it's
cool.
small. It's definitely not a place you're going to spend the whole day. You know, you go for a couple hours and you see it all and do it all, unless your kids are just really into art and want to sit and continue doing it. Unfortunately, it actually flooded recently. I don't know if it's reopened yet at this point.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure, but it's a great space and our kids do enjoy it, so I'm excited to see them put all of their creativity and efforts into something even bigger. So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah. All right, next up on the list is further redevelopment of downtown Cary. So downtown Cary just went through a pretty massive development phase with the downtown Cary Park, which if you haven't been is a really cool spot.
You've got to go if you haven't been yet. It's a great park.
It is, but they've got much greater plans for the downtown Cary area. And some of that includes repurposing government buildings that they think are just kind of a waste of space that they could move elsewhere. One of those is the town hall building. And Cary's slowly over the last several years been purchasing other properties in the downtown Cary area in order to essentially demolish those and then rebuild new mixed use spaces, retail spaces to kind of help hopefully make downtown Cary even a more lively location. And the goal is to have all of those properties purchased by early 2025 and then demolition to start sometime in 2025 for some of those properties. So it's just cool to see an area continually reinvent itself, like being willing to tear down its own government buildings and relocate those in order to make
space
the area
that people want to come into.
Yeah. I just think that's a really cool thing. Like that's a unique thing to see, and that's something that Cary is still on the path to do. And so I think in 2025 you'll start to see probably some of the demolition occurring and new stuff slowly over time start to be redeveloped in downtown Cary. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see the amount of like foot traffic and things like that increase as these projects do get completed, but it'll be interesting to at least see what happens in 2025.
But we're Zach and Cindy Honeycutt. We are a couple real estate agents in the area, so if you are looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can find our contact info below, and you can also find us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along. You can follow us on Instagram at the Honeycutt Realtors, or you can follow if you are interested in restaurants and things going on in the area. You can follow our second account, the RDU Buzz, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Yep, see you next time.